And we're back, Stripe Show podcast on a Tuesday. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. We come on here Tuesday morning. I look over my shoulder, and Jay Monahan, the commissioner of the PGA Tour, is addressing the media right now. State of the Union for the PGA Tour could be the most difficult State of the Union that has ever been delivered by the commissioner, because there's so much stuff happening in the world of golf right now. We're on it, talking about it. Yesterday, Peter Kostis, former CBS and analyst, was on with us yesterday. Really good one. I found myself really interested in what Peter was laying down there in the way of the telecast and contracts and the way things used to be versus the way that things are now. Really interesting listen. Go check that out. But we got to turn the page, folks. We got to look ahead. In particular this week, see that logo behind me in the simulator, the Players. It used to be called the Players Championship. Now it's called the Players. To help me break it all down, fifth major, got to bring in the heavy hitter. There he is, Beatin The Bookie with the Smash GC framed in the back. Did you put that there on purpose for me?
I did. I was paid to put it there, so they know Travis is a big LIV fan. So
I am a fan. I watch it. I've given it a fair shake.
Yeah,
fair shake.
You know, it's interesting. It's different strokes for different folks. You know, so
that's for sure.
It's just like in the XFL and like in the NFL. You know, like it's too. Why not like both? You know, it's more to bet on for me. So
yeah. Look, I'm going to make one comment, and that's it, all right, on this, because I know you and I disagree on this a lot, and I got nothing but love for you. I love your work. You know that. But I like most all those professional golfers that went over there, right? And I have the utmost respect for all of them. They take the money, go do their thing. I get it. There's two things. One is, you know, they got to keep bringing up the PGA Tour. Pat Perez showing his colors. We're here. It's like, come on, just move on and play golf. Number two, if I was a player with LIV and I watched that telecast, I'd be like, well, what in the hell are we doing here? Like, how are we presenting this product this way? I mean, that was embarrassing. I mean, I have a hard time taking it serious. That's my problem. That's it. I have a hard time watching that product and the way it's being presented and taking it serious. That's it. It's no slide on DJ. I love DJ. It's no slide on Cam. I love Cam. It's no slide on Joaquin Neiman. I love Joaquin Neiman. Now you can have the rest of them. No, I'm kidding. I love Mito. Chase Koepka seems like a good kid. You know him. Chase is a good guy, isn't he? He's a good kid.
Yeah.
His dad, Bob, fantastic. I've met him. Right. So there's all kinds of good people over there, but man, you can't present serious golf like that, or what they're trying to imply is serious golf. That's my only beef.
It's like the 16th hole at the Waste Management. You know, I mean, it brings in a different, you know, a crowd. They're trying to get a different crowd. You know, like, you know, the older PGA fans, you know, they nearly have a stroke when they see guys wear shorts on the golf course. You know, they have a stroke when they see Justin Thomas wear joggers, right? So, you know, I think people just have to, you know, the times evolve, you know, so people have to evolve with the times.
Okay, so that's a fair point. And that's a fair point. And I have stated many times, I have much respect for what they're trying to do in the team game. Much respect. Now, I think they got a long story to tell there, big time. Now, they may be committed. They got deep pockets. They have no problem operating at a huge loss. So that's their deal. But, you know, the team game very well could be the future of golf. I don't know that. I mean, maybe the next generation, that's what they want. So, yeah, I think they do a lot of good things. I think they need to look at how they're presenting the product. That's just my only beef to this point. Now, Players Championship is presented by the PGA Tour. This is their flagship place. It's right down the road here from where I'm at. I've lived in this area for 21 years. I was the director of instruction at TPC Sawgrass for I don't know, 7 years maybe. Taught a lot of golf there. I played the golf course a lot. Beautiful place, beautiful venue. The weather's going to be pretty darn good this week. Last year, remember, was a mess.
Yeah,
This
terrible.
year is going to be really good. I think there's going to be some spicy wind at times. I think Sawgrass is going to show its teeth a little bit. The rough right now, I heard Russell Knox talking about it, is as long as he's ever seen it. They'll probably trim it down a little. But I hope they leave the rough up. I hope the rough is a little penal. They went through a stretch where it wasn't. And I hope that it's got a little teeth to it. It can be gnarly here. But the course is in great shape. And it should be a great championship. I'm a huge fan of these elevated events. The Players is always elevated. It's always one of the best fields on the calendar year. But I think we're set up here, Beatin the Bookie, for a good one. What do you think?
Yeah, TPC, it's always a great event. Last year, the last day was great with, Cam Smith was literally draining putts from like 50, 40 feet, like just totally unconscious. It's always a great event. Last year, it kind of got dampened with the weather was just so bad for the first couple of days, where guys who teed off in the afternoon had a complete advantage over the guys who teed off in the morning. So, I think actually the one player who actually, came close to winning last year, who played in the worst conditions, was DJ. I think DJ would have probably won if he got to play in the conditions that Cam Smith did last year. But it's always a great event. They always have the most betting options available. I believe you can watch every threesome at this event.
Every group.
Yeah, you can. You can watch every group. So it's very accessible to fans. So it's one of the most bet events of the year, and I'll certainly enjoy it. It's a good Florida event compared to like the Honda and stuff like that. So I'm just looking forward to it. The fifth major, although it kind of reminds me of the Australian Open for tennis this year with no Djokovic, but there's plenty of firepower there. I think it's a little wrong for them to advertise JT as the defending champion, but I think there's plenty of firepower there this year, so we should have a nice tournament.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And when you look at this course and you look at this tournament, the first thing that comes to mind with this tournament, and you go through the champions, you mentioned Cameron Smith last year. Keep in mind, Cameron lost 5.2 strokes off the tee last year. And I can remember vividly, you go back to this show, it might have been you and I talked myself out of Cameron Smith for that reason. I was like, I think Cameron's a guy, I'm just not sure about off the tee here with him. And I talked myself out of it. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And so I elected someone else. I think I was on DJ. And sure enough, Cameron loses 5.2. Now, you lose 5.2 off the tee, you're not winning golf tournaments usually. Now, to your point, he was 11.1 putting positive. Yeah. He made everything. It was ridiculous. So JT won 21. It was canceled in 20. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was standing on the 11th tee.
I want to say like Cam Smith had like one of the rounds last year. I want to say maybe he had like 19 putts for like 18 holes or something crazy like that.
It was insane what he was doing with the putter. Insane. And like he's not going to run at that clip, but Cameron Smith's one of the best putters in the world. So you were surprised, but not that surprised because he's just that good with the flat stick. And he's a resident here. Rory won in 19. Webb blitzed the field in 18, won by 4 strokes. Siwoo, remember, blitzed the field by 3. Jason Day blitzed the field by 4. We've had some runaways here. And then you go Keimer, Woods. Yeah, you get down into like KJ Choi won here. Tim Clark. My former student, Fred Funk, won here. That was awesome. You've had some, short hitters. You've had long hitters. You've had guys that come in on good form, miss the cut all the time. You got guys that have no track record whatsoever here, play great. You've had guys that have played great here, then miss the cut. Like none of it makes sense. There's just so much up and down here, and you just kind of depends on, in many ways, it feels like how the ball bounces sometimes, you know, a little bit here, and how you hit the tee time splits and things like that. So I've just kind of see the board a certain way, and I'm just going to stay consistent with that. And I'm not going to look too much into this one from a statistical standpoint like I might in some of the other ones. Now, I'm certainly going to throw out last week because I was a mess last week. My picks were shit last week. So I'm just moving on from that. You're going to have those weeks.
Yeah. I think you can throw out like last year's results also because the weather was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget it. It was the first hole after they came back from weather delay. I think the winds were like 40, 50 miles per hour. And they had, I believe it was Brooks Koepka, Justin Thomas, and Rory on 17. And they all three hit it into the water, first three shots. Or it was Morikawa, Rory, and it was Brooks, Morikawa, and JT.
Yeah,
and all three hit it into the water, like not even close to the green.
Yep.
So that, you know, that's like when the best players in the world can't do that.
that.
I mean, the weather was just,
it was brutal.
Bad.
Brutal. I always go to, there's a setting in Fantasy National Golf, fantasynational.com, that a website that I use, and you can go to the last 5 tournaments, the last 5 events at this particular venue, right? So the last 5 players, and you can look at a cumulative strokes gained. So you know who's played, and then this speaks to this championship perfectly right here. Ready for this? So who do you think? So here's the list of the top 10, ready, that have played the best here over the last 5 years. Because usually when you do this, you know what the list says? John Rahm, Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, right? Like you just get the usual suspects. But here they are. Keegan Bradley, number 1. Tommy Fleetwood, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas, Webb Simpson, Siwoo Kim, Jason Day, Corey Connors, Alex Noren, Ryan Moore. You have to go all the way down. Finally, you get to John Rahm. And you know who's under John Rahm? Doug Gim. Now, he's only played twice here. And then Joel Damon. I mean, it's like,
I had the first 3 guys written down. So,
what? That just speaks to it. Now, this course, a few things. One, you hear about the visual intimidation. It's real. Pete Dye's a master at it. He's a master at short courses. He's a master at intimidating you in which way the tee markers point, in which way the angles, in which way the fairways are angled. You have to strategically know how far you're going to hit it, how much you want to bite off into these angles, into the fairway, because they will shorten up on you in a hurry. And then he's a master from there on making you hit a completely different shot on your approach shot. So you may have one that kind of, you need to kind of see it moving left or right off the tee, and then one that needs to go the other way into the green. And so he makes you think you need to do that. And when really you probably don't, you can just play your shot. But the visual side of that oftentimes is difficult. There's a lot of tee shots. You stand on the tee and it doesn't even look like the fairway's out there. You know, I mean, it's just like number 1 is such a weird look. It just looks like the fairway is so small and you have more room than you think. And I have a hard time lining up there. 5. You're down here. It's uphill a little, then it dies off to the right and then back downhill again. You can see a little sliver of the fairway and it looks like there's just nothing there. 9 is a beauty, the par 5. You know, you can bust it down the left side, but if you try to bite off too much and you spray it to the right, it's in the water. I think they're the 4 best par 5s in golf collectively. When you take all 4 together, I would put those 4 up against another collection of 4 in any course. 9's a beauty. 2's definitely a birdie hole. It's gotten tighter though in the way those trees have been built up, and you have to hit a draw. You have to. He demands it. You got to hit a draw there. And then 11's just a beauty. I mean, 11's just red ass off the tee, and then you get up to the top, and it's just this fantastic second shot with this green that sits on an angle with water on the right, a bailout to the left. That's no bar. I mean, it's just fantastic. And then 16 speaks for itself as it takes you into the stadium, and they want you to be able to make an eagle or a bogey. right? Depending upon how aggressive you want to be, which leads me to my final point. And I think it speaks to this wide range of players is I do think Pete Dye gives you options that you can, all right, you want to play aggressively and push it up, go ahead. But you can also play this course more conservatively. And so how conservative do you want to play it? Or do you want to get more aggressive and try to push it up? And I think it's just a brilliant layout from that standpoint because there are options and it speaks to the wide range of players that have played well here. So that's just kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? $800 for a round for 600. So I mean, I would hope it's very nice. You know, it's quite the costly penny, but yeah, that's the dilemma with golf as always. You know, do you play it safe and go for the safe shots, or do you try to win it? You know, and have some hero shots. You know, I find that happening to me every time I play golf. You know, you hit it, you know, under the tree, and you know, do you punch it out or do you go for the hero shot over the tree? You know, like so you know that's always the number one dilemma in golf. But you know, these guys, they're pros. You know, and we saw a guy like Kurt Kitayama manage the course well enough on Sunday to win it. So. I think there's plenty of guys we know that will manage the course well, and then there's guys we know will take risk, you know, like the Rorys, the Rahms, JTs, stuff like that. So I think it'll be an interesting week.
Bay Hill's a different mentality. You can settle in there and know that you have to grind because you know that it's not going to get past 10, 11 under. Like it's just you're going to have to grind. So you can come out of there shooting 70 and feel okay. Here. If the winds are light, like, you know that, okay, I don't have to be overly aggressive. I can play my game, but I do think there's just that temptation to maybe try to be to want to be aggressive, right? And to feel like I've got to get it to 4, 5, maybe perhaps settling around 2 or 3. It just feels like there's more of that temptation here where at Bay Hill, you can just settle in and you know you're going to take some punches. Like you're going to, like Kitayama, you're going to make a double, right? And he did. And then he made a triple and he was able to bounce back from that. Fortunately, because none of the big names made any putts coming in. So that was interesting in itself. All right. So we've got our top 3 guys and we've got some win tickets for you guys here and some top 20s. So our top 3 every week, McIlroy, Scheffler, and Rahm. They're all right there, 9, 10, 11 to 1. I have a feeling I know who you're going to say. Your boy from Spain.
No.
I'm not taking who you are anymore.
I'm not taking John Rahm this week. I mean, his score, you know, he hasn't really played well in this. You know, he hasn't won east of Ohio on the PGA Tour. So,
okay.
You know, Rahm, I had him for the first round leader last week at 20 to 1, and we hit that. And I also had him to win the tournament and 3 units to beat Rory. And the first day, I'm feeling like I'm on top of the world. We hit the round 1 leader, and then Rahm he gave an interview where he was talking about the course conditions and how difficult they were, and it's just like I feel like he was mentally defeated after the second day, and then it just was like a spiraling downfall after that. So I don't like what I was hearing from him last week. So. I'm going to pass on Rahm this week, although I will take him for the first round leader. But as far as to win it, I'm not going to take him, this week. I will take, I will do a change and take Rory, though, plus 900 at DraftKings.
Okay.
I think with how Rory lost that last week, I think, this is the one tournament, to win, right?
Yeah.
He won. He's salty how he lost last week. At one point, he was the minus 130 favorite when he had that 10-footer left on 18 for birdie, and he missed it. So I think Rory, he's done a lot of talking, and I think this week he wants to get it done. So
it's interesting. When he won the Players, he finished 0.7 positive in strokes gained putting. His driver and irons were just elite, and his putter's been chilly again all of a sudden. Since really he hasn't putted well. he hasn't putted well all year, calendar year, in the 3 events that he's played here. So that scares me a little bit, but we know that he can turn it on, and we know that he can elevate, like you said. He looks tired to me. Just watch his press conference. He's taking on a lot off the course, and it's amazing, really, that he's able to finish second at Arnold Palmer. You know, I know when I get tired, like I don't want to get a haircut, I don't sleep well, bags under my eyes. I'm like, all right, just a couple extra cups of coffee. It's kind of that's what I see right now with Rory. So he's like, it's not peak Rory, but if the putter wakes up, he can win by 4. I mean, that's the deal. Like if the putter wakes up, Rory can win this event by 4 or 5. And so for that, I'm taking Rory.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on Rahm. I'm not betting Rahm here. So of the 3, I think we're aligned with Rory. Take me now into the next tier, right? Because we've got, does Cantlay, Thomas, Homa, Morikawa, Schauffele, Hovland interest you at all?
Yeah, I like Justin Thomas.
Okay.
At plus 1900 at FanDuel. JT, his putting's been off as well.
Yes.
His putter has not looked great, but JT is a player, and he even said it on Full Swing, right? He hated to admit it on Full Swing, but even he admitted it that the big tournaments are what he plays for, right? And I think the players, being one of the second, champion 2 years ago, I think this is one that, he loves to play for.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Justin Thomas at plus 1900.
And when he won the Players, I don't think he putted great either. I think he was like positive 1 somewhere in there. I think it was more of his ball striking. So, but you're right. There's a few guys that can elevate, right? And JT elevates. He likes the big stage. 21st at Arnold Palmer was really clunky around the greens, on the green. And he's just it just feels like the wheels are spinning a little bit with him right now, and he's waiting for the wheels to catch the ground and go, which it's coming. It's going to happen. It's just when.
Yeah.
And I like this range, and I really like what I'm seeing with Cantlay. 68 on Sunday at Arnold Palmer was an excellent round of golf. And I think Cantlay, your boy, at 16-1, I'm very interested in. And now I just feel like I feel obligated that I have to stay with Morikawa. So then that scares
so bad. His chipping has been so bad,
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
Yeah, and I like Cantlay, but his history here is not very good.
Throw that out the door.
So,
I mean, I can show you lots of examples. Rory, T6 miscut, win miscut.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make any sense.
But he's been playing well. He's been playing consistent since I think the Amex. So, I do like where Patrick's game is right now.
No, he's playing good. He's coming into form. Patrick's coming into form. So I really like Cantlay a lot here. Morikawa, he was second at Century, third at Farmers, miscut at Waste Management, 6th at Genesis, miscut at Arnold Palmer. This should be a great spot for him. He doesn't have to, you don't have to bomb it off the tee. Just his irons can go to work. But to your point, like his short game, it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been great. Okay, you're going to talk me out of Morikawa, and I'm coming for your ass if he wins. Okay, so you've talked me out of him.
He's a gamer. Morikawa, the thing about him is he's a gamer, especially in big tournaments. I mean, I think every time he's won a major, I've looked back at the major after, and I said, how did I not bet him at 30-1 odds?
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
Whatever it was. So he's a gamer. How he lost the tournament in Hawaii, where he blew that big lead. That kind of still might be in his mind.
So Xander's the other one in this group. So here's perfectly sawgrass. You ready for this? 2018, tied for second. You know what he's done in the last 3 Players Championships? Missed the cut.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, he's all
How
over
do
the
you even
place.
explain that?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like that
You can.
happens all the time here. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, but I think you can throw out like last year's results pretty much
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the
I
weather
agree
was
with
just
that.
so bad. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, last year it just depended on what time you played at, right? Whatever your tee time was
Yeah.
at. So I basically throw out last year's results, but like you said, Xander hasn't made a cut since 2018. So though it's really, we didn't have it in 2020 because of COVID, and you can throw out last year, so it's almost like he's only missed 2 or 3 cuts. So
This is only his third players too. So let's give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt there. All right. Well, I'm gonna, and Homa's in that group at 22, and Homa, his record is cut T13. It's starting to feel like Homa, although he doesn't have the major championships of Morikawa, it almost feels like Homa is now, he's definitely in that group. He belongs in Morikawa, Schauffele.
yeah,
I think JT has slipped down now to that group because he's not, he's like, I think number 9 in the world right now. So he's certainly not in the McIlroy, Scheffler, Rahm category, and Cantlay's in that second tier. So for me, I think in this second tier group, and Hovland, I think you could put in there. You saw from Hovland what I have been fearing and talking about. His ball striking is elite, but he just doesn't look comfortable. He just doesn't look comfortable around the greens. He just doesn't. He hits more shots around the green that are not PGA Tour caliber shots than anybody else. I mean, the shot at Bay Hill on Sunday on the back 9, what was it? I can't remember. It was early, and he missed it just off the green, was in the rough, tried to go upstairs a little bit, and he just completely hit it over the green. I mean, just awful. Like, it almost looked like he drop kicked it.
yeah.
So it just doesn't feel good enough. And again, I go back to, I think he's searching right now, and I don't like what I'm seeing from Hovland to win. Now, can Hovland finish in the top 20? Of course he can. I mean, the dude's elite. So is he going to beat an elite field down the stretch with that short game? Boy, that's scary proposition to me. Finau hasn't played well here. Jason Day has, former winner at 30.
I like Jason Day.
Okay.
He's been playing a lot better. You've talked about Jason Day a lot, but he's got 5 top 10s and 11 events this season. The 2016 champion, he's got 5 top 20s and 12 events here.
Yeah.
So I like Jason Day, to win it at 30, and I like him top 20 at plus 150. He's been playing consistent, and I think playing 12 events here, I think that's like with Matt Kuchar, right? That's experience that you can't buy, right? So,
right.
I like Jason Day here. Top 20 is plus 150, and to win it at 30 to 1. So
it'd be a great story, wouldn't it? Jason Day coming back, winning the Players. No, the comeback started a while ago, and we've been out in front of that. He's played great golf. He looks really good. He's going to win again. It may not be an elevated event, but we'll see. He is on the right track. There's no question about it. So I'm going to jump back on Will Zalatoris here. I know that I've been kind of plugged into this camp, and I'm going to, when you're just looking at raw talent and upside ball striking, I'll look past the bad putting week last week. I think his putter has been really, really good and going the right way. You're going to have a stumble. He's ahead of schedule for all intents and purposes. So you talked me out of Morikawa, but I'm gonna stay with Will. So I'm gonna add Will Zalatoris 35 to 1. And how happy would the PGA Tour be if a young star like Will Zalatoris won?
Yeah, I mean, I like Will. He's a great kid, and he's been close so many times. We've seen him in so many majors. Get second place. It would be nice, to see him, win this event for sure. I think Will's the kind of player like we saw last year, where, a good finish here could get him streaking into the rest of the season, and majors are coming up, and we know Zalatoris is a major. He's a major player, right? And this is the 5th major, they say. So, I like Zalatoris to show up here.
I do too. I think this is. I think he gets his putter back. He can look. You get your irons going here, and you can start to separate, because it's not long off the tee. Just get it in play, and then let your irons go to work proximity. Give yourself a lot of looks, and off you go. So I think this will be a good spot for Will for years to come. And I'm gonna jump on him. Now, Hatton played good last week. He always does there. Can he win the Players Championship? Sung J M, can he win the Players Championship? Matthew Fitzpatrick, man, what a roller coaster that he had last week. I mean, just kind of, running in place on Thursday, put a good round together on Friday, 5 under, and then he just punched himself in the face on Saturday, and then he, put some things together on Sunday. So I don't know what to make of Fitzpatrick. That's one that I'm just like, his neck injury. I don't know. I can't wrap my arms around Fitzpatrick right now. Is he ready to win the Players? I think I would bet Spieth first, who I know hasn't played great here. But just for entertainment purposes, I want Spieth to be there. I mean, the guy is absolutely must-watch TV. I'll tell you a story real quick. So Spieth, I was at home on Sunday, and of course he hits that wedge shot on 5 and makes. I mean, Beatin The Bookie. Let me tell you something. The way that he hit that shot off the green, there's only a handful of guys that would probably try that shot. Mm-hmm. How high he hit it, that was sick. That shot that he holed. And so he misses the green, I think, on 11, and I'm in the kitchen, and I can kind of hear Kurt Byram like, yeah, he's just off, he just missed the green, and then I'm hearing like he's getting ready, and so I'm like, I run in there to watch him hit a short game shot. Like that's like, because you think in your mind that he's gonna hole it. It feels like he's gonna hole everything off.
Yeah,
the green.
Better chance he does that than makes the putt, from 5 feet.
Damn.
He should have won he should have won the API, but he can't. I think he took the lead, and then holes 14 through 17 he missed from like 5 feet, 4 feet, 8 feet, and like 5 feet. So he just can't. He used to be when he was winning majors and stuff. He was such a composed player, right? Like he always looked so calm and collected, and now he's visibly frustrated. Like he does this.
He's exhausted.
Like this. Like all the time. So, I mean, I think he needs like a mental. I would be surprised if he doesn't have one, like a mental coach.
No, he's just fine. He's great TV.
No, but I mean, he needs it for he's like America's answer, minus the curse words of Tyrrell Hatton, right? I think if we could mic Tyrrell Hatton and Jordan Spieth up for one round together, it'll be must see TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Spieth is a trip. I mean, he is flipping the coin, literally. I made that post on Twitter about his putting stance and how crunched down he was, and I think it's hurting him in the short putts. I do. I think it's hurt. I think he's hitting too many wipes, and it's interesting that he's doing that. It'll be interesting to see what his stance looks like this week. But it's becoming mental on some of the short ones, so you lose confidence there. I don't think I'll play it. As we get down into the bigger odds, I'm going to, look, I see Siwoo Kim's name, and I think back to when he won. And you think about Siwoo's game, right? And you think about, okay, he's a very good ball striker, and he's just a unpredictable putter, right? Like that's his deal. But when he does putt, his ball striking is good enough. And so I see Keegan Bradley, and I feel like the same way. Although I think Keegan's a more consistent putter, Keegan can get on a heater with his ball striking. And can Keegan Bradley win an event like this? Yeah, I do. I think Keegan Bradley could.
Easily.
I do. So if I'm looking for a longer shot, I'll play Keegan at 45.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Keegan. I mean, he he's easily got the talent. We've already seen him win this year. He's got the talent to win. So I would not be surprised one bit if Keegan won. So I definitely agree with that. In this range, I never bet this guy, right? I never bet him to win ever, and he doesn't win ever.
So why are you playing him?
His familiarity here. He's been playing well lately. He's got 3 top 10s in 9 events this season. The 2015 champion, Ricky Fowler. I took him 60-1 at DraftKings. I took him plus 250 for a top 20 finish as well. Mm-hmm. I think his game's going in the right direction, right? We're seeing him. He's getting to the weekends in contention, right? And he seems to play the harder courses better. He plays the hard course as well. So I like Ricky.
Okay.
Plus 6,000 to win. So,
well, that would be an unbelievable comeback story for Ricky Fowler. I remember when he did win the Players, man, he hit some incredible shots down the stretch. He did get lucky on 16. I'll say that shot he hit on 16 hit that just past the bunker, and it kind of kicked left rather than right, and it went up there. But you got to get those breaks. The shots he hit on 17 were insane. But Ricky's back. It's awesome to see. I mean, he's playing really good golf. His iron game is trending. His putter is trending. I don't worry about his short game that much. He's back. Ricky looks good. That's good for golf for us to see him playing well. Corey Connors is a guy I talked a lot about last week. And just, he saw him run up you saw typical Corey Connors. Run up the leaderboard. There he is, ball striking. And then a couple vanilla chips that he needs to get up and down, and he hits them to like 12 feet. I mean, just what?
Yeah.
And he just a couple silly bogeys, and then he wipes one off the tee, penalty stroke, and off he goes. And look, when I'm saying this, we're talking about win tickets here, folks, right? We're not talking top 20s. We're talking about winning. And it's just like when you watch this as closely as we do and why they don't win, it was typical Corey Connors. Like if he gets it up and down, keeps the momentum going. Now he's only one shot. Corey Connors' name is in that group of 7-8 unders down the stretch. Like he's in that group, but he just can't prolong it. And it's frustrating. And it's, again, like Hovland, they're like 10 handicap types of shots around the green. They're just awful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what he just, it's the short game's not getting any better. And it's a head scratcher down in here. Like, Keith Mitchell's been playing pretty good. Not sure this is the perfect setup for him. Probably gonna take his driver out of his hands. And then you get all the way down here to 75-1 and Sam Burns. And Sam Burns, I think, is going through his first really official slump as a pro right now. And, I watched him on PGA Tour Live a little bit. And, man, his feet are so far right, shoulders left. And he always does that a little bit, but it just looks like the wires are excessively tangled up. So Sam Burns has got some work to do, I think, to get him back on track. I even thought for a second maybe he was hurt. I reached out to some of my sources, and they don't think he is. So he's just playing some bad golf.
He is hurt mentally, right? When you lose your confidence, I mean, if you lose confidence in your shot, if you lose confidence that you can play well, you might as well be injured because, if you don't think you can do it, I mean, it's tough to get out there and to do it, because the second you hit a bad shot, it's just going to creep into the back of your mind man, it's ending again, right? Like James Hahn, for example, right? He's been injured. James Hahn's been vocal about the PGA rule changes. He's been injured. Seems like a nice guy. He's, he always gets Twitter fired up, right? The PGA hardos, they get so mad at James Hahn. And he put out a note this week on Twitter that, he was injured. So he just letting people know, like, he is older, but he is injured. So when he misses the cut in advance, like, just, he's basically feeling terrible going into the event, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is like, it's not like I would, even if you're injured and stuff, I mean, you're basically throwing the towel in early, right? Like, I would, just be like, I would wait till after the event to say that, right? But it seems like James Hahn's kind of given up on himself before he's even teed off. And I think, like it's Sam Burns, when you're playing so bad after years of playing so well, winning so many events, it takes like a emotional toll on you, a mental toll. And I think a lot of these guys, when they play poorly, it's mostly mental, because these guys, even when they're injured, they can still hit most of these shots. So
Yep.
I think it's mostly mental when these guys play poorly.
So you start looking at guys like, as we move down into the 80s, Harris English made a nice run last week. You're like, oh, maybe he's got some form here. He's missed the last 3 cuts at the Players. I like Thagala a lot here. I think this is a good place for him. And
he's up and down. I think I had him on. It was either Thursday or Friday. No, it was either Saturday or Sunday. He comes out 3 straight birdies. I'm like,
I like
here
him
we
a
go.
lot here.
3 straight bogeys. So he's up and down, up and down. But yeah,
why I like him here?
I do like him
because he can get hot with the putter. His short game is sick, and his iron game is really good. So his driver, he struggles, but all right. I feel I got a funny suspicion about Thagala this week. I'm definitely playing him in the top 20. We'll transition here. Okay. So he's my first top 20, Thagala. But I'm also going to play him to win. Just as I'm going to sprinkle a little there, okay? He's my longest shot on the board. He's at 80. I mean, if I had to pick of all my picks to win, I think I would pick Thagala. Not just from a financial standpoint, but I just think it'd be a fantastic story. Guy's awesome. And what a great story. And I'll tell you, man, like his driver's is getting incrementally better. I think he can kind of hit some shots here where, like I said, he doesn't have to push it up as much because he can hit foul balls. And maybe I'm too encouraged by what I saw with Cam last year.
Mm-hmm.
But his iron game is a strength. His short game is a strength. And I think his putter can go unconscious. And I think this is a good venue for him. He's only played it once. He missed the cut. So he's my longest shot on the board. So he's my first top 20. And I'm going to play Burns plus 280, even though he can't hit it out of a shadow right now. He's my boy, and I'm sticking with my boy through tough times. I'm sprinkling a little Bermuda Burns. Maybe this afternoon I'll go down and pull him aside and just kind of cheer him up a little bit.
Yeah, I can definitely co-sign the Thagala.
Yeah, not Burns. That's me being weird. So, but he's gonna wake up.
But Sam Burns is look, he's got. If we were talking on Monday and we said Sam Burns won, I wouldn't be like, I can't believe that, right? Like we've seen Sam Burns win plenty of times where, it wouldn't be surprising, if he won because
3 wins.
He's been a killer. He's been a killer. He's got that killer instinct.
Bermuda Burns. We're back in the South.
I just think he's lost the killer instinct lately. So,
So that's a good point, Beatin The Bookie, because I want to validate that. When I reached out to my sources and I asked, is he hurt? And they said they didn't think he was. Both of them said that maybe he's gotten a little complacent since his wins. Now, they didn't say that was exactly the case, but that's human nature. So perhaps he's getting the fire relit. I don't know that, speculation, but look, in the South on Bermuda, it seems like a logical time to kind of, get some things ironed out because this is LSU kid, Louisiana. You're back home for all intents and purposes.
Yes. So,
what do you got? Top 20s.
I got Max Homa, top 20 plus 120 first.
I like that.
13th year last year. He had a closing around 66 last year, so he got better as the tournament went on. Also the weather got a little better, so that's not really a surprise. But Max has been a
great round. Yeah.
Homa to me has been like a top 5 golfer in the world this year. He's been near the top of every leaderboard. We've seen him play tough courses very well. And he's been very competitive. I think that fire is there right now. I think he has all the motivation in the world right now. So I like Max Homa plus 120. I like Keegan Bradley top 20 plus 210.
Good.
I also took Keegan to win that 41-1. He got fifth here in 2022, 29th and 21, 16th and 19, 7th and 18, and he has top 20s in 3 of 4 starts this year. I think he's playing very consistent, so I like Keegan Bradley. And my one rule, if you're going to bet Keegan Bradley, is when he plays well, he usually plays well from the start. So I also took Keegan Bradley at 55-1 to be the first round leader. And then I follow Keegan up with I took Jason Day plus 150. Obviously, we talked about them. He has 5 top 10s and 11 events this season. 2016 champ, 5 top 20s and 12 events here. So that's Jason Day, top 20 plus 150. I took Tommy Fleetwood top 20 plus 350. And much like Keegan Bradley, the rule is if you take Tommy Fleetwood, you got to take him for the first round. I took Tommy Fleetwood first round leader at 75-1. You look at Tommy, he's played 6 events here. He has 2 top 10s, 3 top 25s. His first round scores, 3 of his last 4 times were 65, 66, and 69. I believe 2 of those times he had the low round. So I like Tommy top 20 plus 350 and first round leader at 75-1. Then I just finished with a guy who I like to change on the bag with, Bryson's former caddy, Kurt Kitayama, coming off his win last week. He's never played here, but I think, his caddy can give him the navigation around the course because he's got the knowledge to help him. So I got Kurt Kitayama plus 410 for a top 20 finish. So he's a surging golfer. And sometimes I like to ride the hot hand. He's been playing pretty decent this season. So
yeah, he has.
I like the change he's made. And I think, winning at the API will only increase his confidence in himself. So now he knows he can win. And we've seen this before, right? Like with Scotty Scheffler last year. Once a guy finds out he can win it, they win a couple, right? They win in bunches, right? So I'm not saying he's going to win it, but I definitely like Kurt Kitayama plus 410 for a top 20 finish.
Yeah, I love the Homa, love the Bradley. I'll just add Burns and Thigala for mine as 2 other ones to kind of throw a little sprinkle on. But yeah, a lot of alignment there, really, when you look at it. I was just looking at who else has played well. It's just interesting, just the run of a couple good ones, couple miscuts. Good one, miscut. Good one. I mean, it's just, there's just so much volatility here. It's unbelievable. And the margins are thin, and I think you have options in how you want to play this place. So play it aggressive, play it conservative. I forgot Will. This is his 3rd time. I was thinking it was his 2nd. Zalatoris 21st and T22nd or T26. So a couple top 26s in his first 2. Well, there you have it. There's some things to chew on there for the Players Championship.
I had a couple of first round leaders.
Leaders. My bad. I
took, since I didn't take Rahm for the tournament, I took him to win in that. I took him first round leader plus 2,500. Just like when Rahm wins, he comes out hot. Except for last week, this is like the one off.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
It was. He just meant it.
Bizarre.
I think he was embarrassed how he played on Friday, and then he just got frustrated. And we've seen him sometimes his frustration got the best of him. So I like Rory at 22-1 because Rory, he comes out firing a bunch. I took Schauffele at plus 4,500 just for value right there because he's taken down the round leader plenty of times. And then just the 2 others I already talked about, Keegan Bradley 55-1 and Tommy Fleetwood 75-1. So I like the Fleetwood though. I mean,
yeah,
he seemed to have beat me here about twice when I had a guy in 2nd place for the round lead. So I'm finally going to bet Tommy this year. I don't know if he can last the full week, but first round leader, I could definitely see Tommy Fleetwood more likely to win that than the full tournament.
Schauffele, not getting a lot of respect on his name here. Comes in, let's see, 33rd at the Genesis, 39th at the Arnold Palmer. So he, of course, Xander got the win at the Genesis last year back in July, and then he had the Travelers. It was back to back Travelers, and then the Genesis Scottish Open. Then he went 15th at the Open. So he's looking to get his engine started here too. I think he's probably a little frustrated, perhaps, in the last couple weeks. Played okay at the top 10 at Waste Management. These guys want to win, right? They, it's top 10, but obviously it's hard to win, but they, if they're not winning, then they want to be in the top 5. That's the way they see it. So they start slipping down in the 13th and 20th, and a lot of guys will sign up for that. The margins are thin. I get it, but Xander certainly not hitting on all cylinders right now as well. But this tournament, it's if there's one tournament that's just really difficult to wrap your arms around, it's this one, and it's all because of the golf course. I think the weather's gonna be pretty good. High 70s, but I do think there'll be some wind kicking up here and there. Chance of rain Friday night. I think that's going to blow through though early Saturday morning, and then Sunday it's going to cool down. But for the most part, the sun's going to be out. It should be a really good tournament, present itself well. And I'm hoping just like we've been seeing these elevated events. Last week was great. Just there were so many guys, right there, 8, 7.
Yeah. I'm hoping they just, we haven't had any weather delays in Florida so far for the Florida leg, but somehow the last 2 tournaments we couldn't finish the round in time. So I'm hoping these guys finish the first and second round on time. Otherwise, it just screws up the odds for the next round. So hopefully some guys can get in there under 5 hours. I know that might be asking a lot, but I'm just looking forward to guys finishing up on time this year.
There's no excuse for that. There isn't. You got to get it in. All right, Beatin The Bookie. There he is. Players Championship. We bring him in. Thanks for being here.